Eleni's parents, Panayotis Vafiadis, born in 1891, and Sofia Delegoris Vafiadou, born in 1893, were born and raised in Asia Minor, today's Turkey. At that time, there were over 3 million Pontian Greeks living there when the Turks began to harass and kill Christians. So their families moved to Russia. By chance, the Vafiadis and Delioris went to the same town to be raised, Novorossiysk, near Sochi, the site of the Winter Olympics in Russia. They met, were married, and began their life in Russia. The Russian Revolution and the great population exchange between Greece and Turkey in 1922 saw almost 3 million Pontian Greeks move to Greece. The Greeks had been in Asia Minor and the Black Sea region since the time of Homer, over 3,000 years ago. So Eleni's parents joined the exodus. Eleni was born at their first stop, Thessaloniki, but they moved to the Macedonian province of Florina in northwest Greece. They were given some plots of land and a vacant Turkish home in the village of Skopje. Her father continued his trade as a tanner and leather craftsman in his own workshop. Eleni grew up in Skopje, went to the village elementary school where her future father-in-law Erasmus was her teacher. Her parents had 3 more girls, Katina, Calliope known as Marina, and Alexandra. She attended a boarding school for home economics in Florina. She did this during a depression and the beginnings of World War II, when Greece was forced to fight with the Allies. Italy had invaded Greece through Albania. The Greeks repulsed the Italian forces, but were no match for the Germans, who delayed their Russian campaign to invade the Balkans. During the occupation, she met with her teacher's son Eleftherios, and they fell in love and were engaged when he returned from military service. He was a trained agricultural school graduate who tended the family apple orchard. They were married November 21st, 1943, so my mother moved in with her new family in a 2-room house that included her in-laws Erasmus and Efrosini, her brother-in-laws Elias, Dimitri Nonestaki, Philippos, and a nephew and niece, Stefo and Sofika, who were the children of the oldest brother Agesilaos, who was killed in action against the Italians, and 2 dogs, Alkis and Leon. The 2 sisters were already married, and Antigone was living in Detroit, Michigan with her husband George Phillips. Kleoniki was living in Florina with her husband Stefo Gastis. The 2-room house, like all homes, had no plumbing, phone, or electricity. She cooked on a wood stove, which was also the heat. You washed clothes outdoors, and the toilet was an outhouse. Needless to say, times were tough, but they got even worse after the war, when the civil war against communism began in 1945. Florina was being bombed, and the guerrillas burned the homes of teachers, royalists, and priests, which included the Vacratsis house. They moved in with Niki's family in Florina, except for Eleftheri and Eleni, who moved into a room over the horse stables, along with their first son Agesilaos, who was born during the occupation December 20th, 1944. John was born January 15th, 1948, during the Communist Revolution. When the war was over in 1948, they rebuilt the new Vacratsis home and they moved in. Under extreme poverty conditions, Eleftherios decided to go to Canada as a farm worker in 1950. After 1 year, Eleni took the 2 boys, and with a ticket paid for from a loan from Antigone and George, they sailed on the Nea Elas for Halifax. The train then took them to Windsor. They briefly lived on the farm of Kyriakos Millon in Oldcastle as farmhands. Eleni picked a lot of tomatoes. The family moved to Windsor, where they would eventually live in 3 different homes. Assumption Street from 51 to 57, Richmond Street from 57 to 67, Dougal Avenue from 57 until it was sold in 2012. In 1955, February the 8th, Maria, their only daughter, was born. Lefteri first worked at Ford Motor Company, but when it moved to Oakville, he opened up a restaurant. He did not enjoy working for others. They worked together at their Eagle Grill diner from 1954 till 1964, and at Alepht's White Tower from 1964 till 1988. They educated their 3 children. The boys graduated from Walkerville Collegiate, and Maria was a Kennedy CI graduate. Agisilaos, known as Sai or Silas, became a teacher and a University of Windsor graduate. John studied fine arts at Eastern Michigan and Syracuse universities and taught as well, while Maria was a University of Windsor drama graduate and has been a successful actress for years. They also supported their families at home, sending money and sponsoring all of Eleni's adult family members to immigrate to Canada after her father passed away in 1966. They brought over my dad's youngest brother, Philip, and his sister, Nikki, and her family, who in turn brought their niece, Sofika. Nephew Stefo went to Detroit through his aunt Antigone. Yaya Sofia died in Windsor, and subsequently all 3 of Eleni's sisters passed as well. All of Eleftheri's parents and siblings have also died, and sadly, Eleftherios passed December 23, 2006. Eleni and Eleftherios were pillars of the Greek community which they started, along with other Windsorites. Eleni was president or treasurer of the Philoptochos and Platon for most of her years in Windsor. Eleftheri was a council member but enjoyed the choir more and learned to be a cantor in the Byzantine tradition. Eleni loved to cook and bake, especially pitas and galaktobouriko. Eleftheri loved soccer, played and started the Olympia Soccer Club, and taught his boys to play. He loved gardening and pruning, and in later years, running, a great habit he learned from Dimitri Maganis, John's father-in-law. They both loved to dance. Eleftheri waltzes, polkas, tangos, and chasapo cervico. Eleni loved zebekiko and sifteteli. They enjoyed dances, dinner parties, and family gatherings. Their family weddings, church festivals, and extended family dinners were wonderful. John married Mary Maganis. Sai married Sophia Branoff. Maria married Michael Yapiesh. Eleni has 5 grandkids: Dimitri, Panayotis, Eleni Maritza, Eleftherios Alexis, and Christina. Their spouses are Marna Pfeiffer, Rebecca Straw, Graham Hughes, and Jeff Piesich. She has 10 great-grandchildren: Evangelos Vacratsis, Amalia Vacratsis, Panayotis John Vacratsis, Zithos Vacratsis, Saoirse Hughes, Killian Eleftherios Hughes, Kent Vacratsis, Tate Vacratsis, Sava Piesich, and Jordan Piesich. She treasures her visits with them and her nephews and nieces. Eleni sold her home in 2012 and moved into a home on St. Louis Street that she shares with her daughter-in-law's Mary's mother, Maritza Maganis. Sadly, Papu Dimitri passed in 2008. The Yayas live in a few short blocks from their children, John and Mary, who keep an eye on them and take them shopping and manage their property. They enjoy being near and socializing with their family. They keep in touch with distant family members and friends by telephone, occasionally attend church services, and go shopping. They have also made a number of neighborhood friends. At 91, going on 92, Eleni has an incredible memory for places, events, jokes, facts, and figures. She misses her husband, but still recalls all their trips together to visit family in Greece, Toronto, Michigan, and touristic trips with her kids to Florida, San Francisco, Ottawa, Montreal, Syracuse, New York, and other places.